Okay, y'all, so today's just one of those days where I just can't. So I just got back from HEB. I've never tried this before, but I've been wanting to try it for a long time. It's puff pastry from the store. I've made puff pastry, unfortunately. If you ever made puff pastry before, you know how that is. And then I also got some Pillsbury pie crust. Yeah, I know it's a lot of crust, and that's kind of what a pot pie is, you know? Pot pie is just comforting. I already chopped up some veggies. I'm about to start cooking the chicken. I also got some celery while I was there, because I was like, I don't have any celery, because I usually don't have celery. I always forget it exists until I need it for like that one thing, or Thanksgiving. So I'm actually just going to chop up this entire thing, saute it, and then I'm gonna put, I actually might do it before. I don't know. I might chop it up, freeze portion of it, chop it up, saute it. Either way, putting a majority of this into the freezer so that I can save it for times when I'll need it, because I only need like 2 stalks for this, and then what? This goes to die. I know how it is. So yeah, so I'm gonna go into whatever the next little situation of this is. I gotta get these defrosting because it is 6 p.m. y'all, so. Okay, so I have the pie crust that I'm gonna use for the recipe hanging out over here, and then I just put the other one in this. I could label this, but I'm not going to, because I made this video, so that'll be an easy way for me to keep up with when I put it in there. And then I'm also just going to use it probably in a couple weeks for like a quiche or something. This is the deep dish kind, which I highly recommend if you're gonna be doing a pot pie in one of these. And then there's also the variety that's like the smaller one that you usually use for like a regular pie. Savory pies are just easier in the deep one, including quiche. There's also instructions on how to use this and that for like the bottom, and then you thaw the other one and you put it on top for your recipe, which I saw online a pot pie recipe that does that. I was looking at a lot of pot pie recipes. I don't remember which one it was, but I'm sure that if you put like Pillsbury pie crust pot pie, it'll come up. But I wanted to try the puff pastry, so I have it chilling or thawing over there. And like I said, I'm gonna put this in the freezer. Okay, so my glasses are on because I really cannot film without them right now. I just cut up some potatoes, and not really doing like measurements for this. So I would say, like, if you want to make whatever comes out of this, I recommend using measurements maybe from a different recipe. I think I have like 1.25 cups of potatoes if you were putting them in to a thing. I cut my hand on the spring lettuce mix earlier, and it's so annoying. Anyways, yeah, so maybe use measurements from something else, or just, you know, wing it like I am. So I have the celery. It is separated and washed. That's a joke. LOL. I will be using the leaves because the leaves are absolutely fine. They taste just like celery. And I'll just be using them in the dish that I'm making right now, and that way it's nice and easy. So I'm just gonna chop all of this up. If you're one of those people where you're like, celery, what do I do? Well, how do I chop this? Blah, blah, blah. Honestly, just do it. Like the cooking shows where everything is like, you have to chop it like this and like that. First of all, a lot of cooking shows don't really do it exactly anyways, which is perfect. So whatever, small dice, big dice, chopped roughly. Eat the celery, cook the celery. I don't really fuck with celery. I don't really like celery like regular people like it, like in peanut butter and stuff. I think that's freaking weird. Like for my taste buds, okay, my taste buds. But yeah, so we're gonna use it in this, and I'm gonna start chopping it up. So I'll be back to show you all of the things, and we will be putting them together. So this is what I have right now, just a pile of like the leaves and some of the ends for them, and then I just separated them from the stalks here. So I'm just gonna set those on top of the potatoes for a second, and I'm just going to rough chop this. And like I said, I don't really like celery by itself, but there's a necessity for it in dishes like this because the flavor that it adds is just, I mean, there's nothing comparable, honestly. Like, it just needs to be there. There's a reason that celery is in so many things, and it's very necessary. So I am just really rough chopping this. And you could be like, oh, well, you could have like separated the leaves from the, yes, but that makes it a little bit more of like a grueling task when you think about it for the next time that you do it, right? Because you're like, oh, like I did that celery that one time, that was so yummy. Man, next time I have to do that, I'm gonna have to separate the leaves and like do this and that. Make cooking like as easy as possible for yourself. Just do whatever you can. And that's why I'm also making this so small, because I want the flavor from it, but I don't want it to be super crazy in the dish. Don't want to be like chopping or like crunching on a celery piece. So just chop it to whatever you like. And then I would say this is probably all that needs to go in the dish. And then for these, I'll go ahead and saute them separately, and that way I can just put them in a freezer bag, put them in the freezer, and they will be there for when I need them. And then whenever I have a dish like this where I need a little bit of celery, I can just pull out a small amount, boom. And I just want to show you guys what I do to cut the celery, just to make it as easy as possible. So I have it like this, cut it in half, and then I just take the one half and I kind of like do it on its side, like it's usually sitting like that. I kind of push it a little bit more, and I'm just kind of making them these easier matchsticks, but not in like a super crazy way. Like if I accidentally cut it sideways, I'm not gonna throw it away. And then with this, I'll set that to the side too, and then do the same with the other side. And then now that I have them, I just kind of line them up and then go like this. Like in a professional setting, you would be moving the item and not the blade. That's like a really big thing in professional kitchens. I always found it to be really difficult, so I'm just kind of doing whatever needs to get done to cut this. And then you have these small little, I'd say this is kind of like a medium dice, if we were gonna name it. And then I just have a bag of onions here. I feel like I put this in the video, but I don't remember. This is just like some small diced onions that I'm also gonna use for the recipe. And then I just have, you guys know, my favorite pot. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on a little bit above a 6. And that way I can get this party rolling. I want the celery to be very plain. So usually, you know, for like a recipe or something, you're gonna saute the meat first and then go into the veggies. But I am just kind of pausing for a second. I'm gonna saute this, put it in a freezer bag, and then I'll go on to like the actual recipe. So I'm gonna grab the chicken too. Oops. Remember how I said my fridge is like crazy right now? Still haven't really fixed it up, so it's still looking ridiculous. This is the chicken that I was using in, I think it's this video. I really don't know. But these are just some half chicken breasts. I already washed them. What is this? Okay, cool. So I just put some oil. I'm just waiting for this to heat through. Can't believe I sliced my hand. Okay, I'm gonna be using this spoon because it is similar to a wooden spoon, but it is not. And I just, like I said, I have some oil in here. I'm gonna go ahead and put this celery. And you can freeze it, you can freeze it raw too. It's just easier to cook with if it's already like kind of like sauteed down a bit. Celery is a really great thing because it imparts so much unique flavor, but it is so inexpensive. A conventional celery, like whole, stalk of, it's not a stalk, what is that? Like bunch? A whole bunch of celery. How you buy the celery at the store? It's $1.28 at H-E-B over here. And even the organic one was like $3, which is really not bad for so much volume. And I'm just watching an Abby Sharp video, but while that sautés, I am just looking at a recipe to see kind of the like steps for the pot pie and like about how much of each thing should be used. It says like a ½ cup of celery. This is a little bit more, so I think I'm gonna put this in there too. Yeah, that works. I'm just putting some of the leafy celery in there. That'll be all right. I was looking at the weirdest recipe earlier. I really did not enjoy reading it. It made me very uncomfortable. And whenever you're doing any vegetables that you want to like saute and then freeze, you don't want to saute them all the way until they're super soft, unless it's you don't want to go all the way to softness, because what the freezer is going to do is expand the water molecules inside of the vegetable, and then whenever they, you know, defrost, it's just going to create a lot of water. So I just like to make sure that, since that's going to happen anyways, that I don't like saute them too much, because then they'll just be super, super mushy, and I just don't want that to happen. These are looking so beautiful. When you saute celery, it's so cool. It kind of has like a yellow hue at first, but whenever you start sauteing it, it starts to be like super, super light green. You can see it right there. Cool, so this is good. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off. And then just a regular freezer bag here. I'm gonna go ahead and label it. And then I just use whatever is available. This is a Nukes cup. I haven't actually been there, but my job got us Nukes for lunch one day. And it comes with the cup. So I'm just letting this cool off just a little bit. I just got a text from Brandon. I was just checking to make sure he wasn't dying. I'm just gonna let this cool off a little bit, and then I will spoon it in here, and we'll move on to the next step too. So I've got my cup of warm celery in a bag. I know it sounds weird, but you just pull it out, and this is just gonna hang out on the counter until it is room temp, and then I will seal it up and put it in the freezer. So that'll just hang out over there, and I'm trying to leave it as open as possible. So let's move on to the next step. Also, in another video, I'm pretty sure that I mentioned that I put WD-40 on the door hinges because they were making a creaking sound, right? What I didn't realize when I did it is that it made it where the door doesn't stay open. It's very irritating. I usually have something on the ground to like hold it, and it's just, I don't like stuff being on the ground. I want the ground to be good. So I put Velcro on the door and on the dishwasher because that's the only point of contact that the door had, was just the dishwasher. So that's what I did, and now, as you can see, it is staying open with nothing there. So I'm very, very freaking excited, and yeah, I just did it today. I had like a brain like blast or whatever. I was just like looking at it, I was like, oh my gosh, Velcro. So now when I want to close it, nice and easy, as it should be, but I mess it up. I'm just getting some of the extra celery out of here so that I can go ahead and saute my pollo. And I say it like that on purpose. Please don't start making fun of me in the comments for that. Jesus. Jesus. Okay, cool. So this has been wiped out, so I'm gonna go ahead and place it on a similar number. I just have my chicken here. I need something to put it on, probably a glass. And I'm gonna season this pretty plainly, but I'm doing that on purpose because a chicken pot pie isn't supposed to be some crazy thing. You know, it's just supposed to be pretty simple. So it's gonna have a lot of flavor, but a lot of that flavor is coming from the fact that it has a lot of fresh vegetables in it. Vegetables have their own flavor, so don't worry. It will still taste good even though there's not a buttload of seasoning. So on this glass cutting board, I'm putting salt, pepper, some onion powder, and some garlic powder. And the reason I'm doing that is because I just want it to like be picked up from the chicken on the bottom, and then I'll season it again on top. I'll put that right there real quick. Ah. Oops. And then I'm just gonna leave this chicken in here. I know it looks like it's gonna leak. It's freaking me out too, don't you worry. I'm just gonna leave this chicken in here. I can use it for something else. Because chicken pot pie is gonna have a lot going on. So we don't wanna like try to overcrowd this because then there's just gonna be a whole bunch of stuff left over. And that is what we don't want, duh. And I don't like to use too much of this garlic powder because it's like a fresh garlic powder from Central Market. It's a roasted garlic one. It has a lot of flavor and you can like quickly over-situate yourself. So don't want to do that. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of some smoked paprika. Just a little. Just for a little bit of a smoky flavor. I don't want to do too much because I don't want it to have too much smoky flavor because like I said, trying to stay good. See, I go overboard sometimes too. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. Cool. Okay, so this should be very hot. I just recently started using spray for stuff like this and it's like changed my life. I always used to see people doing it and I'm like, that is very weird. But it's honestly great. Hopefully I didn't just touch that. We're just gonna pretend. Okay. Oh, I forgot to salt this side. Whoopsies, what are we doing? definitely want to generously salt like every aspect of this. Cool. It's gonna be crazy when I put this in here because it is hot. All right, cool. So the chicken is now cooking. Don't worry, I'm gonna clean this area later anyways. I'm gonna put this in the dish area. So I'm gonna let that cook, and then we'll get to like the sauteing of the vegetables too. Okay, so I went ahead and added 3 tablespoons of butter to this pan, and just to like get all the bits from the bottom. As you can see, we got a really good crust on this. It looks burned from there, but I promise that it's not. It's just very, very like caramelized. So let me get the other one. We got a good like saute on that side too. This still might be too much chicken to go in here, so I'm just gonna let that hang out. And yeah, now we're gonna go in with all of our aromatics. So let's do some onion. As you can see, I brought the wine out because I'm going to use a little bit of this. I have some thyme and some celery seed, and then this celery is still hanging out over here. It's still pretty hot, so I'm just still letting it do its thing. I'm going to put it in the pepper bowl. Cool, so this onion is good. I'm going to go ahead and add the celery and the potatoes. Honestly, this itself would be really good. Crack some eggs in there, you know, when the potatoes are cooked. That'd be really nice. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna make some chicken stock, chicken broth, because I don't think I have any. I don't. I do have this, so I can use this as a little bit of a base. This has a lot of flavor in it. It's from that roasted chicken. I'm just gonna add a little bit of hot water to this to kind of reconstitute. Okay, just gonna let this hang out for a little bit. And then I'm also gonna use a little bit of this Better Than Bouillon roasted chicken flavor. Just as like a way to help out the fact that I don't have enough, like, that's not enough. So that is okay. I just added about a cup of liquid to this, and I am just mixing that together. And now I'm just gathering all the items. This has some canned corn, peas, some frozen green beans, and some carrots. So I'm gonna go ahead and add all the carrots in here. They're small enough where they're gonna cook either way, but this is about the time for them to go in. And I grabbed my flour as well, which is in this container over here. Okay, cool. So all the carrots are in. And I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest of this stick of butter, which is probably 2.5 tablespoons. And part of that is because I don't have any cream, so I gotta make up for that with some butter. This seems to be letting go here. I'm gonna add this water so that I can break this up. Perfect. That's gonna impart so much nice flavor in here. It's just like the juice and the fat from the chicken that I roasted. Mitzi, I know I'm talking honey, but I'm not talking to you, okay? And this is just like about 2.5 cups of liquid. This butter is almost melted. Awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this lid off, which I still am so confused that it like did this to this, but whatever. That wasn't very specific. Oh my gosh, that was so silly. Okay. So this is what we're working with right now. Hopefully you can kind of see that. And I'm gonna go ahead and add in about 3 tablespoons of flour in here. I'm gonna add some salt. And I'm just gonna cook that flour for just a couple minutes. And this is still like pretty cold, so I'm just gonna put it in the microwave for like 20 seconds. And I don't have to put too much salt because this, like, the better the bouillon has a good amount of salt in it. If you hear little crunchies, it's because Mitzi is now eating her food. So wish her the best with that. Okay, so that's doing its thing. Cool. Awesome. And this is like 1/4 of a cup or so of the wine. Just gonna let that cook for a second. And then I'm gonna go ahead and add this in. And everybody was adding theirs slowly in every single recipe that I looked up, so that's what I'm doing. I'm gonna go ahead and add the green beans. And these are just green beans that were fresh, and then I froze them because I was not going to use them before they went bad. I know green beans don't really go in here, but just trying to get rid of some stuff that's in the freezer. And then I'm just gonna bring this up to a little simmer and let that simmer for like 5 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and start chopping this chicken so it'll be ready to go in, and then we are like almost there. I'm gonna put the oven at 400, and then we are like so close. I'm so excited. Started chopping the chicken. I was like, maybe they wanna see it. So I'm just putting it in very, like the smallest like dice that I can of chicken. It's like barely cooked through. Like this is like very squishy, very juicy, which is perfect for something that is about to go in the oven and cook some more. And the reason it looks like I'm like cutting it so hard is because I am. I'm trying not to cut my finger. It's crazy how just cooked this is. Like it's like barely, like it's right there it cooked. This is perfect, perfect chicken. I'm gonna cut some of these bigger pieces in half. Oh my gosh, so I'm showing Brandon a teacher, the show. Jonathan showed it to me whenever we were together. We watched the whole thing. Oh my gosh, forgot just how crazy it is. If you've ever seen it, please let me know. Show is insane. And it's so crazy how different it feels as an adult to watch someone with such a young person, and then like an adult with a young person, and then as a kid it was so much different. Like it seems like cool whenever you're a kid. It's like, ooh, like I'm talking to someone older. As an adult, no, that is extremely creepy and gross. Like seriously. So let's see here. Okay, we are so close. Okay, so I just tried this. It's kind of it's kind of crazy how delicious this is. So I put in as much pepper, like whatever was left in my little mortar and pestle. I put that in here. I made up a little egg wash, a whole egg with a little bit of whole milk, just to kind of have that for the puff pastry. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of milk in here since it's simmering, just to add that like nice creamy factor. I would add heavy cream, but I just don't have any. I did have some and I forgot how long I had it, so it was bad. Whoopsies. My bad. And then I also have the crust hanging out right here. I poked a little bit of holes in it because this crust, sometimes it depends how it's feeling, will like puff up under what you're making. So this is still I haven't blind baked this, it's still raw. It's just hanging out with some holes. And the puff pastry is now good, so I'm gonna go ahead and mess around with this, even though I want to do nothing less than how I feel about doing this right now. Honestly. Oh my god, okay. It's so funny, like whenever, so there's a lady on here, her name on YouTube is like Neurotic Mom Bakes. I think I've mentioned her before. And you know, it's so funny because it's like, yeah, like Neurotic Mom Bakes, but like I feel her. Like there's some stuff where I'm like, yes, I feel you, girl. Like I can be neurotic too. Honestly, I should have kept the flour out. Let me see if I can just... And with the other one that was in the box, I just put it back in the box and sealed it up. And I'll just save it for something. I'm sure I can figure something out with it. So I am just kind of pushing that a little bit. I already put my flour like so far in the fridge. I'm just gonna pull out this flour. This is like where my flour stays that I just need, whoops, for like the future. But I really need this right now. So I'm just gonna use it now. And you're really supposed to like super roll this out, but I don't really want to. I'm just going to press it down a little bit because really I just don't want to wash the rolling pin. There's been a theme here lately. Me and dishes are just not getting along with each other. Thankfully, Brandon has been an absolute gem and he's been helping me with them. And I think we all agree that this is too much to go in that pie tin, yeah? Okay. No need to say it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in the chicken. And all of its juice that came. And I mean, it was flavorful without this chicken. With this chicken, it's gonna be wild. It is going to be a wild journey. I always try so hard not to make too much food. Whoopsies. Okay, so this is now ready. I'm just letting that kind of come together really quick. So I am gonna put as much as I can into the pie crust, whatever I can't fit. I think I'm just gonna freeze it and save it for like the next time that maybe I want a personal pie, because I don't know how much I'm about to get out of this. I really don't. I don't. It kind of seems like 2, yeah? Kind of seems like 2. Oh my god, I was so confused for a second. I was like, how did someone come through the garage? But I forgot my car was out there. That is such a noise coming out of her right now. Wow, Mitzi. I'm filming a video about this. What do you make? What noise are you making? You tired?
No, I need pain reliever.
Are you alive?
I have a huge migraine.
Oh, honey.
I'm dying.
Oh shit, my phone's about to die. Okay, so that was just a brief intermission because I was just fixing Brandon up really quick. He came in. So I am putting as much as I can into this little pie. And I don't want to put too much liquid in here because when it's bubbling up, I don't want it to like bubble out too much over the side. Like I want some of the liquid to be in the pie. I don't want to waste it. So just putting that in here. And then honestly, like I'm just going to take this puff pastry and I'm just going to lay it over the top like this. So I'm just going to lay it like this. Kind of trim the edges slightly. just put those back up here. This puff pastry sat out a little longer than it's supposed to, so it's a little soft to work with right now, but that is all right. And the puff pastry, I think, was like $5 in the freezer section. The 2 pies were like $2.98 or something. So there's that, and then I'm gonna do a vent. Just gonna kind of crimp the sides just slightly. Try to make sure that I'm like locking the pie inside, the pie filling. Okay, cool. And then for the egg wash, I'm just gonna brush that on really quick. Just doing a nice even layer. And this is gonna be that like irresistibly golden brown color that everyone craves whenever they look at something like this. And this is the same, you know, for like homemade rolls too. You can do this for homemade rolls. They come out beautiful. Otherwise, it just kind of looks like boring and dry, because it is. This also imparts flavor, so has a few jobs. And you don't want to do it too heavy in the spots because it will turn into egg. Like just straight up cooked egg. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is just gonna go in the oven at 400 degrees until it is cooked. Okay, so there was definitely too much to go into one pie, so I went ahead and just put it in this freezer bag. I'm gonna let it cool off and then freeze it and see how it goes. I haven't done that yet with chicken pot pie filling, so I might as well do it now, see what happens. You can't really know until you try, so. And the state of these potatoes is like absolutely perfect. It's like just able to be chewed, which is so good because, you know, it's being baked, so I'm really excited. Oh my gosh, guys, here's it is. I had this on top of it because it was browning a lot on top and I wanted to make sure that it was fine. It needs to freaking cool off for like 30 or like 20 minutes or so. So, oh my gosh, look at it. It's so pretty. Like, I'm so excited. Okay, this has been cooling off for quite some time on the cookie sheet, so I feel like we can cut into this. I mean, it has been quite the moment. I cannot believe this right now. I'm gonna take my glasses off because I think that this needs to be the thumbnail. If I don't drop it, oh my gosh. Look at this. It's beautimous. I am so excited. Okay, so let me see. I'll just go ahead and like point it down to it, and that way you guys can get the full idea. And these actually turned out so cute on there, huh? I didn't even really think about it whenever I did it. I was just being a little cheeky. still pretty wet on the inside, so whoops about that part, but let's see here. Yep, crust is good there. Trying to get like a good slice here. And just completely failing, but that's okay. Honestly, for being as hot as it is, it's staying together pretty well. It's been chilling for a while though. It's been chilling for like 20 minutes. Believe it or not. Okay, so all of that work has come to this, yeah? Very excited to try everything together. I'm just filming the end really quick, babe.
That was a weird comment. Oh.
So hot, but so good. Here.
This is Brandon trying.
It's still really hot.
Oh no, that's perfect.
Here's some crust.
Mm-mm.
Yeah?
That's delicious.
Thanks.
God damn, that's a lot of dishes. I'm glad you guys can't see it.
There's a lot of dishes over there. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I don't know if this is going to be like its own video or what yet. I feel like probably. Anyways, thank you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.